Part one that I was at Brother Abdul Latif's house. The brother let me stay with him until I get on my feet. And on this dresser, he had a lot of distinctive oils that I never smelled before. Come to find out now, there was imports. Week later, not a week later, but what I used to do is every single morning before I left out to go to the mosque, I would put some of the oils on that was on the shelf. And so I fell in love with the oils, and then after a week, he took the oils off the shelf, kind of indirectly let me know, brother, you're going to use up all of my stuff. You see what I'm saying? So shout out to Abdul Latif, man. Good brother, man. The brother, he's a veteran. Good brother, kind brother. You know, I appreciate it. Matter of fact, the brother just came here last week, and he bought incense from me, all right? Good brother, man. Good brother. Shout out to Brother Ashar, too. Good brother. If it wasn't for Ashar, I would have never stayed with us, right? I would have never been introduced to the imports, right? See, everything that happens, man, everything that happens, along the way, you don't understand it now, but later on down the line, when you start to become successful in whatever it is that you're doing, you see the reason why people were put in a particular place for you at that moment. There was a reason. A lot of this stuff, you know, it's planned. It's well planned. Okay, you just don't understand it, but the one who does the planning, he understands it. All right, so let's continue. So I was staying with that brother for maybe like a month, and then I moved to the masjid because Brother Ashar, he talked to, you know, the board of the masjid, said, listen, there's a brother, you know, a convert, became Muslim, and you know, you need a place to stay. How y'all doing this morning? All right. So they have apartment buildings inside of the Cass Masjid, over there on Cass and Forest. So I stayed there for, this was in 2008 in the wintertime, right? Stayed there. When I stayed there, just recently, a brother came to Brother Ashar. Brother Ashar helped me out a whole lot, man. May Allah reward this brother. I mean, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preserve him too. I mean, so Brother Ashar, he ran into a brother named Abdul Malik who got a window cleaning business named Spider-Man Window Cleaning. So he listened, I'm looking for somebody I can hire, you know, because I'm getting busy. And so right away he says, brother, I know named Issa, you know, he's looking for a job. Brother Ashar saw me, he said, hey, listen, there's a brother, he's looking to hire somebody to work for him. Spider-Man Window Cleaning. Hey, how y'all doing today? All right, so when I called him that very same week, I started working, you know, he trained me and everything. So I started working right away. Every single morning, I used to wear on my work jacket because he gave me a work jacket because it was cold, cleaning windows out there. Gave me gloves and everything, you know, very thick insulated coats. So therefore, you know, I won't be real cold when I'm out there. So every single morning I used to wear 2 fragrances. I used to mix them up throughout the week. The very first fragrance I used to wear was a fragrance called African Gold, okay? That one, and also it was another scent, Burberry Sport. Those 2 fragrances at that moment in the wintertime, I used to love to wear those scents. Good morning, how are you? Got them on sale 3 for 10 this morning. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I thought you was on the phone.
No, I'm making a video, but I can still assist you. Smell this one right here on top.
Which one you supposed to help me?
Which one is that one?
What chili thing, like?
Which one?
It was like little gel, like.
Oh, you talking about Egyptian Mystery?
Oh, I don't know.
The new one I had, they really sold out yesterday.
Oh, wow. You got any other ones with the jelly?
The one that's really, really thick, Egyptian Musk. Yep, and I got those on sale up there. I got them on sale 3 for 10.
Oh, you got it with the brush.
What's that?
When you gonna have some of the other ones?
I'll have some more probably Wednesday.
Okay. I'll stop back.
Okay, all right. Yeah, but they come with stipulations of it, you know. On that day, if you say you're supposed to get it, if you don't come that day, I'll sell it to anybody that buys it. What's that? One more time. You know what I'm saying? Did you supposed to come the next day? On the 1st? And you didn't come on the 1st, right? I just sold out. Yesterday it was what? The 2nd, right? So I had an extra day. All right. All right, so now back to it. Okay, so Brother Ashar, he reached out He said, listen, let the brother stay there. So they let me stay there. Brother Abdul Malik hired me, and I used to wear African gold and Burberry Sport every single morning. So one day I wanted to switch up, and I said, you know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wear this scent. I wore African Musk one day, but then the very next day I put Amber White. Now keep in mind that coats don't have a body chemistry like we have a body chemistry. We have heat in our body, right? So when we put that's why I tell people rub the fragrance in, so it can activate with the heat with your body chemistry. So the coats don't have that. That's the reason why a fragrance lasts longer on your clothes than it does your body, right? Because the heat makes the scent evaporate within time, in hours. So what happened was, I wore Amber White that day. I wore Amber White that morning. And so brother said to me, he said, brother, what you got on? I said, Amber White. He said, brother, he said, I'm not trying to be rude. He said, but that scent don't really smell too good on you. He said, it don't smell too good on you. And so I'm like, really? I was like, I've been wearing it, the whole summer, And so what happened was, I found out exactly what was the problem there. I found it out now because I know more about the fragrance now. Well, what happened was, I was wearing it. See, Amber White smelled different in the summertime and the spring than the winter. So in the winter, it didn't smell that good on me. Why? Because when the seasons change, the fragrance, it smells different on you. That's one. So I extracted a lot of principles from that. One of the principles I extracted from that is because the day before I had wore African Musk, right? The day after that I wore the Amber White. And so one of the benefits the principles I extract from that is that just because two scents smell good on you doesn't mean that they mix well together, right? So he was smelling a mixture of the African Musk and Amber White. I'm knowing it now, but back then I didn't know. First thing. The second thing is, as I said before, it may smell good in the summertime, spring, but when you wear it in the wintertime, it may not smell the same. Or it may smell good in the wintertime, and it may be real strong, but in summer and spring, it may not smell too good, you see? Another principle that I extracted from that, and I told you about that, which was the coat, okay? So if you wear a fragrance, and you may wear it, and because the heat that's in your body, when you put the fragrance, it warms up your coat, and it makes the fragrance kind of like it amplifies the scent of the fragrance. Okay, so I learned a lot that day, and just like I said, I learned also that just because two scents they smell good doesn't mean those two fragrances they mix well together. All right, so that's what I learned that year 2008. Okay, so let's continue. So when I got my first paycheck. 2008, when I got my first paycheck, I wanted to make a new scent, all right? So this was in the winter time of 2008, okay? I went to the halal bookstore, and I made a scent. I called it Barakah, B-A-R-A-K-A-H, Barakah. And I mixed two scents together. I'm not gonna tell you because I'm actually make it and I'm gonna sell it to you guys, all right? But this scent here, I'm still working, I'm still doing the window cleaning. Put this scent on, and it was like 12:30. I didn't have any place to clean windows, so I went inside of this store, this sports goods store called, I think it's called Dunham's. So when I was in the store, I went to the sporting goods store, and I went there because working outside at that moment, you needed some really, really thick, what they call it, underclothes. You know what I mean? Thermals. That's what I'm trying to say. Really thick thermals, so I know that the sporting goods store, they have some because the guys who hunt outside, they need that. So I'm looking around and I'm walking all around the store. I'm walking all around the sports goods store. There's a white lady 25 feet behind me following me all around the store. So I'm like, wow, this lady must think I'm still into something. So what happened was, when I finally got to the cash register, she, as following me, she walked past me, got behind the cash register, rung me up herself. And so she said, what are you wearing? What cologne is you wearing? I said, it's not cologne, it's a fragrance oil that I made. It's called Barakah, which means blessings. And she said, smells great. She said, I can smell you all over the store. It's trailing behind you. As you walk, it trails with you. 25 feet behind me, all around the store, she can smell me. And I said, I put that on 6 hours ago. 6 in the morning, I put that on, and it's still lingering on. And I only put this much. I just rubbed, let me see, let me take a fragrance here. I just did this, that's all I did. Like that. just that much right there, and I rubbed it in on my neck and behind my ears, and it was lingering on me the whole entire day. Okay, the whole day it was lingering on me. Okay, and that fragrance called Buttock. And actually, that scent, when I used to get on the bus in 2008, every time I got on the bus, people asked me, what is it that you got on? And I would have that on. I'm going to probably bring that scent out in another probably month or two. All right, so let's continue. All right, let me see. All right, so that job lasted 1 month. That job only lasted about 1 month, right? So I went back to selling oils, walking around selling oils. So at that point, you know, I would go downtown to sell my oils there. Remember I told you about the brother Yazid that was selling oils at that corner store, right in front of the corner store on Griswold and State, right? When I went down there, I noticed he wasn't there. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna walk around and I'm gonna just be in front of, I'm gonna be in the entrance of the corner store there because he's not there. So I would go there, sell my oils there. I would go there every single morning. I get up in the morning. I put on Egyptian musk, and that people always say you smell great. What you got on? Egyptian musk. That was my top seller. So I went there. This brother Yazid, he wasn't there anymore, so I was there. You know, so the next morning, I come across a brother named Abu. This is still in the wintertime, 2008. A brother named Abu Zakaria. Abu Zakaria, tall brother, big beard brother, football player. How's it going? Abu Zakaria, he told me something. He said, get out earlier. And I was like, excuse me? He said, get out earlier. He said, I told him I got out, you get out like 9 o'clock. He was like, no, that's not enough. Get out earlier. So I took his advice for 3 days, and then I went back to my same pattern. That's a lesson. See, all of these lessons that I'm telling you about, it came from the stuff that I actually went through. And I just compiled it into a system called what? Sunnah Aroma Academy. Yeah, I had to write a lot of this stuff down too. Let me see. All right, so one morning, all right. Oh yeah, that was, 2 weeks from there, 2 weeks from that day, brother named Ashar. Let me see. Brother Ashar had a conversation. Remember the professor, Brother Ashar? Professor Ashar, he was a professor at Wayne State University. Hey, guys. So what happened, Ashar was telling me one day, he was helping me with my resume because I was looking for a job. I was trying to get in the coffee place called Bixby on Woodward Avenue in Forest, right across the street from the Rite Aid. So I told him, I said, so he helped me with my resume, and he told me to put on there that I have my own business. I said, selling oils ain't a business, you know, it's like side money. He said, listen, it may be small, but it's a business. You're a business owner. So I took his advice, and from that day, my whole outlook of how to sell oils became different. You know, I looked at it more as a business, and my approach was different, as opposed to having a sales pitch. I got the oils. I got the oils. So, hello, how you guys doing this morning? My name is Issa. Listen, I sell fragrance. You mind if I give you a free sample? It changed, right? Because of what he said to me. So, that next week, it was a knowledge conference that was in Dearborn. They had this knowledge conference in Dearborn, right? Some brothers from out of town, very knowledgeable brothers. So, me and some brothers went there. Shar was there too. Brother Shar saw me. Hey, how you doing this morning? He said, Issa, salam alaikum, gave me salam, shook my hand, gave me a hug. He said, brother, you smell good. What you wearing? I said, oil. He said, brother, I know you're wearing oil. What you got on? I said, Buttock. The same scent I was telling you about where the lady was following me around the store. I had the same scent on. So we're almost done, 2008. You know, and then also what happened that year in the winter time, 2008, there was a brother, beautiful brother named Dawood, okay? African-American Muslim brother. We used to sit down every single morning. We used to prepare sandwiches because we used to feed the homeless people on 12th and Martin Luther King Boulevard, okay? I forgot the name of the place called, I think it's called Cox. You know, so we used to do that. We used to prepare the sandwiches every morning and oranges, and we used to pass them out every morning. So before we did that, we sat down and prepared them and we talked. And so a brother said to me one day, he said, are you going to also start selling incense and shea butter with your oils? And I thought about that because I just thought about some oils, but indirectly it's kind of like he was pulling my coat to let me know that this whole system goes together. Oils, incense, shea butter, black silk, all goes together. So from that point on, I actually started to sell the incense. I knew how to make it from before when knowledge was at the bus stop, as I said before, but I didn't start selling them until the brother told me about that, and then I started selling them. So with so many people that came along that kind of helped sharpen me, man, to be the person that I am, you know, let's continue. So that same year, winter time, I moved to Hamtramck, right? Moved to Hamtramck. I was staying on Conant and Edmond. No, Conant and Harold, by the Catholic Church, which is a school now. Staying with a brother named Thaler.
Hey, what that stuff you put on my hand? The first one you put on my hand.
What color is it?
That chain, you said it got 3 different scents to it.
Oh, Egyptian Mystery sold out. Sold out yesterday, the whole thing.
The whole thing. Okay.
I have some more Wednesday.
I won't give it.
Okay.
All right.
I'll put a bottle to the side for you.
All right.
All right, so what happened was moved to Hamtramck. Brother Thaler, you know, good brother, man, good brother. The brother told me, he knew that I sold oils, he was a big fan of Egyptian musk. So he told me, he said, listen, man, if you can get some really good Egyptian musk, I will be one of your frequent customers. He said because he would go online and purchase Egyptian musk, a pound for like $12, and say when he get it, it was watered down, it was weak. So that's when I find out that people actually step on the oils. People actually water down the oil. So I learned something then. So every place that I went to, you know, different years, I'm learning different things. People telling me things that will help sharp and mold me to who I am now, Professor Smellgood. So that's the end. So that's pretty much all of the main events of 2008. Stay tuned. Probably Wednesday, 2009. Journey of Professor Smellgood. Thank you guys for watching.